Hi everyone, nice to see you and hear you on our webinar about marketing with the YouTube channel. So our speaker is Idelma. Thank you for attendance. Hi Idelma, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me. I'm looking forward to this masterclass.
Our session is dedicated to how to create a consistent lead generation for your business by starting a YouTube channel. And to understand the main topic, we invited our speaker. Our webinar will focus on video creating and using it to engage your audience. And you know, the learning videos are also a great learning tool. Incorporating video materials into e-learning course can make it like live and engaging, and with screen recording. Also, iSpring screen recorder, iSpring Pro tool for learning and processing training videos. You can get a free trial on our webpage, and yeah, just use a video in your business goals, and I think Idelma will talk more about how you can boost your business with YouTube and video content. So let's start.
Welcome once again. We're going to be talking about how you can grow a consistent lead generator for your business by using YouTube as a strategic platform. I'm hoping that you have like a pen and paper and something to drink. It's going to last more or less about an hour. Of course, there's also some room for your questions, but mainly at the end of the presentation. So make sure to write it down, and I'm more than happy to answer all your questions. And we will be staying here until all questions are answered. So, and it's proven if you actively listen to a presentation, so if you actually write things down, that it's easier to remember, because that's the way our brains work. That's why I recommend to grab a pen and paper. Well, we have already tested this, but this is always a part of my presentation, just to make sure that you can actually hear me. I had it twice. I think it happened to me that I was talking like for 10 minutes, doing a masterclass, only to find out after 10 minutes that no one was hearing me. And I want to make sure we avoid that, but we've already done the test, so that's a good thing. Where are you from? Well, some of you have already shared that, so nice to see we have an international crowd. And if you are joining in just right now, just let us know in the chat where you're from. It's good to know who I have on the other side of this laptop. Like I said, I'm based in Holland. I was born in Spain, but I've been living here for a long, long time. And for those of you who are familiar with Holland, I live in Dordrecht. I used to live for a long time in Delft, but then I moved to live together with my current husband to be in Dordrecht. So that's where I'm based. What business are you in? Well, some of you already shared that. And yeah, first of all, thank you, like they say in Dutch, dankjewel for your time today. It's a beautiful spring morning here in Holland. I'm not sure how the weather is like on your side, but I appreciate that you take the time to learn more about this topic. And that also means that you and I have something in common, but because I'm also always very eager to learn, to develop myself, and to investigate new strategies, new tools, new online tools to help grow my business. A little bit more background. Well, I already mentioned it during the small introduction, but also if you just listen in right now, my name is Idelma. I'm a video strategist. I've been working in sales and in marketing for over 10 years before I started my own company. So I've seen both sides. And then only after like 5 years, I realized how powerful video is nowadays. And I think we've seen that, especially with the corona pandemic, that all of a sudden we were all stuck behind our laptops at home, and we had so much dependency on finding new ways to connect with potential customers online. How important that is. That's why I further specialized during several years in this specific topic. But what are we going to cover during this masterclass, this webinar? Well, in this webinar, I will talk about why YouTube is interesting for your businesses, or businesses, if you have businesses, because I can imagine, there are several online platforms, there are different strategies to grow a business, but why should you consider YouTube? I can imagine that would be a question that you have. 5 mistakes that are often made on YouTube, and I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes, and I will of course explain what I mean by that and how you can make YouTube work for you. Okay, I'm just checking the chat from time to time, but Larissa is also here, of course, so she can also watch and see what happens in the chat. If I miss anything, let me know.
Yeah, sure. You will get a link to the YouTube where we will post a recording of our webinar, and also cherry pick. You will receive a special link to a simple video recorder iSpring Pro. So if you're in fire to make a video content, just welcome.
Good to know. So you will receive it. And at the end, we have, of course, time for your questions. So I'm curious because I have no real idea of what you do or what your business is all about, but perhaps you can share in the chat who's already using video for their business, or perhaps you're not the one who is responsible for this part, but you know that your company is already using this. I'm just curious. Can you share? And if it's not being used, that's also okay. It's just out of curiosity to know who's already using it.
iSpring uses YouTube, just not just in English, but in other languages, also Spain.
Spanish, yeah. Okay, great, nice. Yeah, I know you actually have a big YouTube channel, so you're doing a really nice job. So that's great. And Ian is saying not using video, but plan to within the next 3 to 6 months. Really good. Andy, we have several students' video testimonials. We want to learn how we leverage YouTube to attract more prospects. Okay, so you came to the right webinar. Great. Helen, the business has just started to use on the website. Okay, so mainly on the website, perhaps like a small introduction video or a video pitch or something like that, I'm guessing. And Ian is saying, although we do use 3D simulations created by Autodesk InfraWorks, we put them on YouTube, but only in private mode. Okay. I see that happening a lot, that companies do use YouTube, but more like the private option, somewhere to store their videos and to be able to share it. But I'm going to be talking more about sharing it to a bigger audience. Well, some of you already answered that, who's already using YouTube. I'm just always curious to see and to hear who is using it. Glad to see that iSpring indeed is already embracing the power of YouTube and in different languages. So that's really good. And is there anything you still struggle with within the company when it comes to video or with YouTube? Something technical or certain limitations about the platform or the strategy or the kind of videos that you should be creating for your company, because I can imagine once you start taking this approach, creating videos and publishing them on YouTube, that you want to make sure that the videos are the right one for your target audience. So just curious to hear if there are any particular struggles that I might be able to also discuss during this webinar. Okay. Well, I'll just give you time to answer that, and perhaps you need a couple of minutes, but I'll continue my story and I'll make sure to check the chats from time to time. And if I miss something, Larissa is here to point it out. So why YouTube? Like I said, there are so many different platforms. Why should you also consider using YouTube for your company? First of all, there are 2.2 billion users worldwide, and that sounds like a ridiculous large number, but you have to keep in mind that some of those users are like the big stars, the influencers, the people who post videos every day, but also the very more like the general users who just react on videos from time to time, who use it more like a library, like someone once said to me, YouTube, you can see that like a YouTube university. So if you have a specific question or if you want to see how something is done, you go and find an answer on YouTube. So those users, some are more actively and some are more passively, but worldwide 2.2 billion users. Furthermore, it's the second largest search engine in the world, and that's something that's really interesting because a lot of people go there with a specific question in their mind to find an answer, like most of us go to Google to find answers to certain questions we have. It's the same with YouTube. And it's owned by Google, and that's a huge advantage because it means that the main goal of a platform like Google is to make sure that the user gets to see the answers to their questions, but also the relevant videos that answer that question that you have. So you see on YouTube that and on Google, you see that if you create good, valuable content, that they will also be shown in the Google results. And not, you can advertise on Google, of course, and spend money to have that same result. But you can also do that by using and creating valuable content and just growing it organically for you, for your business. Well, this is just a random. So this is just an example. So I typed in how to start your business online. And as you can see in Google, you will see different web pages in the search results, but also different videos that are pointed out because they answer the question that was typed in on Google. And this was accomplished without having to pay for this. So no paid advertisement. It's just by creating valuable content. And I've also, normally I show an example of one of my videos or one of my clients that also have accomplished the same. But that's how it works. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay. Let me see. All right, sorry. I was just confused with the different screens I had opened. So this means that you can rank high organically, so without paying for advertisement or anything like that. Oh, this is actually an example of one of my videos. So video's bewerken op je smartphone in Dutch. I don't know how good your Dutch is, but if you would type that in, you would see that it's also in YouTube, it's quite high, this particular video, but also in Google. And I didn't pay to get the result. The only thing I did is I created a valuable video with really good content, and that's why it's ranking so high, and it's been picked up also in the Google results. We also see that advertising has become more and more expensive. So what I mean by that is like advertising on Facebook, for example. I don't know if some of you that are listening today are also using Facebook ads to target their audience. But because of different changes in the last couple of years, you see that it's become harder to get the same results as before, or more expensive to get the same results, leading to leads, leading to customers with Facebook ads. And with Google, you also see that it's not as easy as it used to be anymore. That's why it's important to start looking for alternatives, like, for example, using strategically YouTube. And it's also what's also the case with YouTube is that people search more specifically for content. So if you compare it to a social media platform like, for example, Instagram, Facebook, which they are very popular, a lot of people, also business owners, are using it. But you see that people search much differently, use the platform differently, YouTube, compared to those other platforms. Whereas a Facebook or an Instagram and even a LinkedIn, you just, you have a look and see what everyone is sharing, but most of the times you're not really specifically looking for something. It's more a lot of things that are distracting you on the platform. Whereas compared to YouTube, people have a question like how to create a lovely Christmas gift. I'm just giving an example. Or you want to find a certain recipe or something else. And with that specific question in mind, you start searching for relevant content. So it's a different experience, and there is less distraction on the platform itself and the way it's being used. Also, what we see is that video content on YouTube, you can really compare them to day and night promoters of your company, like your website. Your website never goes offline, also not in the weekends or during bank holidays or whatever. It's always there. And with video content, it's the same. So it doesn't matter if you're on holiday, if the company is closed for a couple of days, or certain people are not there. The video content that is on YouTube will continue to promote you and your business. And it's much better for the longer videos. So if I compare this to all the other platforms in general, you can say that most of the times it's best to share a video not any longer than 2 minutes. Videos on YouTube can easily be anything between 5 to 15 minutes, because people also take a little bit more time to actually consume the content than on other platforms. So that's also a big difference. And what I see, looking specifically at business owners, at companies, that it's only used by few in the right way. Even larger organizations, I see a lot of YouTube channels, and as soon as I see that the company has a YouTube channel, I can't help myself and have a look at their content and see what they are doing and creating. And I can tell you, a lot of companies don't really know how to use it, or use it in the right strategic way. So that actually means that there is plenty of opportunity for your business to differentiate yourself and to make sure that you do use it in the right strategic way. Good. Having said that, 5 mistakes that are often made on YouTube. What I often see happening is that a lot of times a channel is used, or YouTube in general is used as any other social media platform. Well, in general, a general rule that applies for social media is that each channel has their own rules of success. So the better you understand the differences, because there are differences, the more chance of success with your content you will have. The same applies, of course, for YouTube. It's just a different platform. You can't compare it one-on-one to, for example, LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you're active. So the same applies for YouTube. For one small example, I mean, there are more things to think about, is on YouTube, you can also add tags to videos, and tags are they tell something about the topic of the video. So for example, if you've created a video about a certain recipe, for example, let's say you created a video about how to cook paella, a very popular dish in Spain. You would add certain tags to that, like cooking paella for beginners, all those type of search terms, because they are actually search terms. But what I see happening a lot is that people confuse those for hashtags. So, for example, on a platform like Instagram, you are stimulated to use hashtags, which is not the same thing on YouTube. There is a way to use hashtags, but it's not really that important as compared to like Instagram, for example. I also often see that there is no real strategy behind a YouTube channel. So there is, they decide, one day they decide to start a YouTube channel and start creating videos and uploading them on the platform, but they forget the big and important step of thinking about the strategy ahead of times instead of just starting. And it's good to think about questions like, what is the goal of this channel? Do we want to inform, entertain, inspire, a combination of different type of videos? Who is our target audience? The clearer you have that, the better content you can create. But also to think about what type of topics are we going to talk about. Let's say you are a software company, for example, like iSpring. I've seen your channel. I don't know exactly all the videos that you've created, but it's important to really think about what specific videos are we going to share on this platform. And also something about how often, the frequency, how often are we going to share something and put it online. Those type of questions, but also you want to think about a call to action. So after watching this video, what is the next step that you want the viewer to do after watching the video? And I see that a lot of businesses don't really think about all those important questions before they start. Also, I see that often they don't really know their audience. So because they don't really know and they don't really interact with the audience, their video content that is created is not really relevant for their audience. So there is like a mismatch. So start that conversation, have that conversation with your audience to know what is it that they want. And also on YouTube, you can do that because there is like a tab which is called a community. I was just thinking about the name. It's called community. And on there, you can share specific questions, or you can create a poll, or you can give a little sneak preview of a new video that you're going to create, or perhaps a webinar that you're going to give, like in this example with iSpring. Make sure that you involve your audience with the content that you make, because YouTube really allows you to build a community, and also for the long term. And what I also see happening a lot is what I call temporarily videos. This is just an example. One of the clients that I helped a couple of years ago, Global Woman Club. It's like a big international women network club. And they had a lot of videos on their YouTube channels with videos about upcoming events. But you can imagine if that event took place like a couple of years ago and it's still on your channel, it's not really relevant for me anymore as a new visitor of your channel. So make sure, of course, you can share such a video, but make sure that you mainly focus on evergreen content. And evergreen content, that means that you create videos that are not only interesting today, but also 1 year from now or even 5 years from now. I have clients that I've helped, and still, because of some videos they have shared on their channel, it's still working for them. People are still finding them because of that particular video. I used to work for a software company here in the Netherlands called CG Risk. They were in the risk management business. And they had one specific video where they explained a certain method. It's called the bow tie method. And that video, I think it's like 6 years old, but still it's like the number one video about that method in the search result. And still people are finding this company because of that specific video. So that's how it can work. So make sure that the content that you share is evergreen. And what I often see is that often it's forgotten that YouTube, in the core of what it is, it's a search engine. Just like Google, what the main objective is to make sure that if someone is using Google or YouTube, they have a specific question, that they get relevant answers. Because if the answers, the search results are not relevant, people will go to other platforms to find an answer to their question. So make sure to keep that in mind, that it's a search engine, and how can you make sure that it's clear what your content is about, what your videos are about. Let me take a little sip. And one of the things that can help with that is to think about the title that you use. I've come across videos that have like a very general title, for example, Q&A 2016, August 2016. Well, I can guarantee you no one will look for that video, because no one has a clue what to expect when they type in those words, Q&A August 2016 or something like that. So make sure that in the title you make clear what the video is about. That's like one small example of how you can do that. But this is also one of the mistakes that I often see. Let me see, anything happening on this side? We're still okay, I guess?
Yes, quite fine.
Yes, okay, great. Because in the end, it's not just about creating pretty videos or creating a pretty YouTube channel. It's more about this, making sure that your video is ranking high in those search results. And if you do this, if you start using YouTube strategically, it can have several benefits, several after effects. One of them is to grow your mailing list, for example, because it's great that we have different platforms like YouTube, like Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. You name it. But in a way, you also want to make sure you create an independence of those platforms, because if they decide to change certain things in their system, like Facebook did in the last 2 years with the advertising possibilities, then your business is going to be hurt because of that. So you want to make sure that you can also connect directly with your potential customers, and that's why it's so important to have an active mailing list. And what most people forget, most businesses forget, is that you can also use your YouTube channel in order to achieve that, in order to make sure that you're growing your mailing list and that you are collecting contact details of potential customers. Another thing is this is just an extra bonus, but once your channel is big enough, you have enough subscribers, you have enough people watching your videos, you can also get paid by YouTube for your content. Well, you're going to be creating content anyway, so why not take advantage of extra ways to earn money with that content? Because the main business model of YouTube, it's not the platform itself in the sense that you don't have to pay to create an account or anything like that. Of course, you have an option to pay and you get some extras like no advertisements, for example. But the main way they earn money, YouTube, is by offering paid advertisements. So to companies, they can start putting advertisement on different videos. And if your YouTube channel is big enough, you can actually get a small percentage of that. You get actually rewarded with your content. But you can also attract sponsorships, and I've seen that happening with a lot of companies who have started using it strategically. And I have a really fun and nice example. This is a Dutch company. It's called Schildersbedrijf Edens, which means that they offer painting services. They are based in Apeldoorn, that's here in the middle of the country. And the owner of this company, I think he started a YouTube channel about 8 years ago. I'm not completely sure. His name is John Edens, is his name. And on his channel, you find very informative videos, anything related to what he offers, painting your door or using the right type of paint, etc., etc. And he told me the last time that I spoke him, I think it's about 2 years ago, that at this moment he earns more money with the sponsorship than he earns with his own company, because he's in such a niche. A lot of companies, a lot of brands find him and offer him to promote a certain paint or to promote other related things. So this is a possibility. I don't say you have to do this for each, that it's smart to do for each company, but it is something that is possible by having an active YouTube channel. Another thing is affiliate marketing, and you also see this happening a lot. So for example, let's say, for a small business owner, for example, they've created a video about 4 relevant books that you should read in order to achieve something like a certain goal or something like that, and they share a video about that, talk about the video. Then you can also include in the description, so below a video you have like a description field, which a lot of times is empty, because most users forget that they can actually take advantage of the description field. You can also share an affiliate link, and an affiliate link, I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with this. That means that you get paid a small commission if you promote a certain product. So in Holland we have something similar to Amazon. It's called bol.com. That's where you can order books. That's where you can order, nowadays you can order anything there, because they've become larger and larger. But let's say I've created a video about the book example that I just gave. I can actually subscribe to their affiliate program and also use the promotional link on the description. And that's also a way to earn extra with the content that we are going to create anyway. And there are more options. This is the main part. Andy, yeah. Thank you, Andy, for sharing your question. The advantages of shorts and best practices with these. Okay, interesting question. So shorts, I don't know if everyone is familiar with it, but if you are familiar with TikTok, which shares like short videos, a lot of times it's very entertaining and fun and with music and those type of things. And about almost 2 years ago, YouTube decided to also start doing something similar, which is called YouTube Shorts, because they also wanted to make sure those TikTok users will be using also the YouTube functionality. So it's a similar idea, short videos like 60 seconds, 1 minute, where you can share a certain video. And I've seen this working quite well for like the informative video. So like sharing one tip, for example, or just a little bit using a little bit of humor in those shorts. But also I've seen it working quite well that you create a short, for example, you have like a longer video about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and you want to make sure that an audience is also being that they are going to watch the complete video. And what a lot of companies are doing is that they are creating a short about the longer video in order to attract them to the longer video. I also see that because shorts are being used on your mobile device, and it's actually quite easy to subscribe, um, a little bit easier even than just watching in general a video on YouTube, that it has led for a lot or some of my customers that are using it, not everyone is using it, to more subscribers, to more growth of their channel. So it is definitely interesting to have a look at, and especially if you are already creating short videos anyway, perhaps for other platforms, depending on which business you are and where your target audience is, you can actually use that short video on several platforms. So let's say you also have an Instagram account, you can share it there, and also on YouTube Shorts itself, perhaps even TikTok. It's not for everyone, but the audience is changing in the last couple of years. It could be really interesting. Andy says that that's great, as it's something we're not sure how we could have used them, but now you clearly gave me some ideas. Thanks, Idelma. Okay, you're very welcome. I'm glad that I can inspire you. So Larissa, depending
Uh,
on you.
Maybe
Yeah,
one question from me. How do
yeah.
you think YouTube is about brand awareness or about sales? How do you think?
It's about, that's a good question, Larissa. I think it's more about brand awareness. So you don't want to create videos that are very salesy, but more informative, more provides specific tips or tools. And you can be salesy, but in an indirect way. So, for example, if you are like a Dyson, they have a big YouTube channel. They have very informative videos about the product, so you can actually see how the product functions, how it looks like, how you can start using it, etc. And indirect, of course, they want you to actually buy the product, but that's the way. I advise most companies to use it. Use it mainly in the informative way to actually show that you are an expert, that your products can really help someone, or the services that you offer, depending on what you do. But no, it's not really a salesy type of channel. That's not the way I would use.
Thank you, Delma, so much. It was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about this. I hope at least I have opened your eyes for the possibilities of YouTube for your business. And looking forward to connecting with you in a way.